Okay. 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 You know what? He's got a point. Okay, you're canceled. Yeah, you're canceled. How's it going, everyone? This is Camden McDonald, and this video needs no intro. You already read the title. Episode 4 of me reacting to history memes. Let's get right to it. Britain and France. So you'll just take the Sudetenland, but won't annex any more of Czechoslovakia. Germany. Well, yes, but actually no. Yep, that's how it happened. Yeah, so Hitler during his start of his Lebensraum plan, which I think is how you pronounce it. It's German for living space, which means he wants to take over the world. He demanded that he'd be given the Sudetenland, which was an area of Czechoslovakia that had many ethnic Germans. And the Allies held a meeting with Hitler, and in the end, they just said, "We'll give it to you, but you have to promise not to invade the rest of Czechoslovakia." He invaded the rest of Czechoslovakia. When you're just chilling on an iceberg and your phone gets connected to Titanic's Wi-Fi at full bars. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal would definitely be chilling out on an iceberg in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean on his phone in 1912, and then when the Titanic comes near, it gets connected to its Wi-Fi. Yeah, Wi-Fi totally existed on ships with your modern-day phones back in the year 1912, with Shaquille O'Neal being alive in that same year. Okay, you all know I'm joking, but it's just funny to me. It's honestly just funny. Blimps have killed less than 1,000 people since 1912. Automobiles killed more than 1,200,000 just last year. And which form of transportation did the public reject? You know what? He's got a point. I mean, it makes sense. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. Hey, don't boo me just yet. Hear me out. It's true. But the reason why we got rid of airships is because of a couple things. First of all, Germany was one of the main people who created airships, mostly by the company Luftschiff Zeppelin, if I'm correct. And yes, that is the same company that did create the Hindenburg. And Germany, being the main supplier of airships, they were filling their airships with hydrogen, because the United States, which was the main supplier of helium, aka one of the rarest gases at the time and most expensive, was refusing to sell it to any other countries. So that means Germany had to use hydrogen for most of their airships, including the Hindenburg. And guess what? Hydrogen is one of the most flammablest gases out there. So if you mix it with oxygen and give it a little spark, you're gone. But yeah, the Hindenburg was basically the Titanic in this scenario, where the Titanic was the final straw, where they added lifeboats to fill the ship's capacity, while the Hindenburg was the one that killed off the airship industry forever. But yeah, today we have automobiles, and with people driving them who have almost no experience. Well, at least blimps had experienced drivers, so they knew what they were doing, and yet with our automobiles, we're the ones driving it, and we're the ones making the mistakes and causing the 1,200,000 crashes every year. This show gonna be fire for Okay. It's just his face. He's just so calm. He's just like, alright, add that to my Snapchat streak. But yeah, him at Ford's Theater, he's saying, "Our American Cousin is definitely gonna be a good show for me and Mrs. Lincoln." Oh my gosh, well, little would he know, this would be the end of his Snapchat streak. Okay, I think I went a little too dark with that one. Oh my goodness gracious. The HMH's Britannic on November 21st, 1916. Hey look, balloons! I mean, accurate. Well, yeah. On November 21st, 1916, the HMHS Britannic, the sister ship of the ill-fated Titanic, struck a mine off the coast of the island of Kia at 8:16 a.m., sinking in 55 minutes, killing 30 of her crew. Yeah, but it's not like the HMHS Britannic was a sentient being and saw an underwater sea mine floating under the surface of the water and said, "A balloon! I want to pop it." Me, lights match for smoke. Everyone else on the Hindenburg. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, I know this might be a little hard to believe for all you non-historians out there, but the Hindenburg did have a smoking room on board. Now you might be thinking, hold on. On board a hydrogen-filled airship, and the hydrogen is very flammable if exposed to oxygen, they had a smoking room. What were those idiots thinking? Well, I'll explain it. So, yeah, smoking was kind of a habit back in the day, and I guess part of the luxury of living was smoking, aka killing your lungs from the inside out over the course of around 10 years before you finally die of lung cancer. Luxury back in the day, I tell you. Okay, a little dark, sorry. Anyways, so on board the Hindenburg, they did have a smoking room, but to make sure that nothing happened, all personalized matches and lighters were confiscated before a voyage. And on board the Hindenburg, the smoking room was pressurized to make sure that no hydrogen could get inside of that oxygen-filled room, and to make sure that nothing gets in there and for nothing to go boom. Touring the wreck of the Titanic, $250,000. Joining the wreck of the Titanic, price. Okay, you're canceled. Yeah, you're canceled. I'm pulling out my inner queso. Yep, you're canceled. Oh my gosh, well. Cut. Next one. Diesel, Bella, what do you want? My dogs are photobombing the... Why'd I even say photobombing? They're not even in the shot. Conspiracy theorists. The moon landing was faked using CGI. CGI in 1969. Yeah, CGI in 1969 was with people using their 20K HDR 1200 FPS Super Nintendo iOS 49 Blu-ray ultraviolet radiation 1080p PlayStation 5 computers to generate a lunar module, a rover, and Neil Armstrong with his American flag. Sorry, meme me just photobombed. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that say the moon landing was faked. And one of the evidence that they give, well, two of the evidence that they give can be shown in this photo right here. One of them says, there's no stars and it's pitch black in space. You could see all the stars, so how come you can't? Well, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist, it's daytime on the moon. If it's daytime on the moon, you can't see stars. Let me tell you this. Do you see stars in the daytime on Earth? I think not. Another one that they give is, look at the American flag. It looks like it's waving in the wind, but how can there be any wind on the moon? How in the world is it floating like that? They used a rod on the top of it to make sure it's stabilized. They used a rod. No fancy wind techniques, no fans on set. A rod. Just a simple little rod at the top to hold the American flag up. Come on, guys. It's that simple. Boycott all British goods. Ask them nicely to stop the taxes. They say no. Revolution! But yeah, that's true. Because after the 7 Years' War, Britain's victory came at around a £60 million cost, which was back in the 1700s, so today that's quite a bit of money. They were broke and a lot of debt, and they had to come up with some way to repay it. But they were protecting their American colonies from the French, so they felt that they were the ones who should pay for their debt that they owed them. So they went over to them and said, We were the ones who protected you from the French, but now we have no money to pay our war reparations. So can you please give us some money so we can pay it off? No. So, in response, Britain started taxing them. But, in response to them taxing them, they boycotted their goods. It kept escalating further and further until John Adams finally went over to the British and asked, "Can you please stop giving us these taxes?" And King George III replied, "No." So George Washington ordered some Minutemen armed to be stationed around the colonies, waiting for the beginning of any conflict. And when the British found out about this, British General Thomas Gage ordered thousands of British men down to Boston so they could take control of all the rebel supplies which were stationed in the town of Concord. Paul Revere, along with a couple other people, sent telegrams throughout the town warning the people that the regulars were on their way. So the Minutemen stationed themselves in the town of Lexington, and when they met the British, they spent a while yelling at each other, but in the confusion, someone shot first. And this became the start of the American Revolutionary War. Anyway, guys, that's it. Sorry, stroke. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I really love this series. It was put on hold for a little bit because, yeah, I was working on my big documentary talking about my great half-uncle, William Edmondson Grumble Jones, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that documentary, I'll put a link to it in the description below, or you could just go to my channel and look at the second latest video to this one. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.